sometimes the phone rings and you look at it, it's Tom Walsh, and you answer it and it says, Corey, I have an idea. And boom, it pushes you to dream big. And I think that's the best thing that I have taken from Tom, is to always dream big and always push to go big.
When we were kids growing up, we were involved with Make-A-Wish Foundation and Dad's passion of helping children and families through Make-A-Wish. As he moved to Mexico in Los Cabos in '93, a few years later, he had a friend come and ask for some help for a local child.
Well, Tom and I have known each other for 45 years or longer. Well, he came to me one day and he said he had a story to tell me. And it was all about this young boy named Carlitos. He had cancer, and Tom had vowed to help him and his family, and he ended up bringing Carlitos to Sioux Falls.
I would get a phone call from Tom, and he said, I have this child, and he heard about Carlitos, and his mother's been looking everywhere for help. And then suddenly I was like, of course, send him up. And I don't know how Tom did it, but all of a sudden they had medical visas and they had what they needed, and I'd be meeting them at the Omaha airport, and we would bring them to Sioux Falls.
Carlitos made a big turn for the better. He got healthy, and we were so excited. His father and brother came up too, because this was extended care he needed. And we'll only know later on in life why, but he had a relapse, and when you have a relapse, there's nothing more you can do with this kind of cancer. Jeannie was taught palliative care to give Carlitos. They didn't want to just send him home, so Jeannie came down and journeyed with the family through his last 3 weeks of life.
The first time I really heard Tom's vision, that's something we could actually do, it was at Carlitos' funeral. Tom and I were walking back to the car, and I had met so many people at that funeral, like Gay Thatcher and the people from Mobilize Mankind. All of these groups, Ligamac, that were working hard to get things done for these children. And I was like, wow, Tom, all these people, and and maybe a blood bank, because the kids with cancer have to travel so far. And so he's like, that's what we got to do, Jeannie. We got to do something. We got to make a foundation or a blood bank or something. We bring all these groups together and help these children have a better life. So that was really the first conversation. It was right after Carlitos' funeral, walking to the car. His life had an enormous impact on all of us and all of you, because we wouldn't be here without Carlitos' life and death.
We met Tom Walsh around 2004, 2005. He was asking about what organizations were in Los Cabos, and there weren't a lot of other groups at that time, but Tom came to change all that. First, we started with children with cancer. We started going to Culiacan. We sent over 50 children to Culiacan with the help of Tom and Los Cabos Children's Foundation, and with the help of Governor Covarrubias and his wife Elena. We were able to establish the pediatric oncology unit in La Paz, which was a first step in solving one of our biggest problems, kids with cancer.
First off, Tom is, he's a bright light. You walk in there and see that little fuzzy mustache, and it's always got a smile underneath it. And, that's the type of thing that, when you walk in and know somebody really cares about people. And, he exudes that.
He's probably the most generous man I've ever known, in a sense of being able to see, situations where help is needed, and he doesn't just talk about it, he just goes out and makes a change.
Tom set out 23 years ago to help one child, and now hundreds of practitioners who are helping children every day. And it all began with Tom's vision.
And he goes to the goal, directly to the goal. Tom is a founder of Teletón Foundation in Baja California Sur. He got to the foundation and he started to talk about the needs of Baja California Sur We just had two choices between two places to build our first rehab center. But to be very honest, if Tom hadn't been with us in that moment, maybe the construction of that first rehab center in La Paz would have taken many, many more years.
You know, I want to use an example of what Tom has said, and I know many others will probably say the same thing, but the example of the dropping the pebble into the pond and the ripples that happen there, that pebble is Tom Walsh. You know, he is the one that drops into the water, and what does that do? It creates momentum, and it makes people want to do things. And I think that, you know, every time you feel that in some aspects, you know, it reminds you of Tom sitting behind you, pushing you down the way.
Being able to come back every year and see the kids, go out and have dinner or host a celebration at the house, but to see them grow up, and now they're active and carrying on the tradition, and he's taught all us next generations what it means to give back and make a difference.
I think that's the legacy that he left and is leaving, and he's still, I mean, he's gonna call me tomorrow and tell me he has an idea. So it's not, this is to be continued because there's other big dreams coming. And that's the coolest thing about Tom is he doesn't stop. I mean, we had the Crete inauguration and he said, Corey, what are we doing next? So we just keep going.
That tells it all. He worked very hard. He built great teams. He had great leaders, and more importantly, he had a community that invested with him to help fulfill the need for these kids.
And you can see the success in the eyes and the hearts of the families and the children that have been treated and saved. It's my honor to be part of it.
You've taught me, Tom, that love knows no borders, and you've put that into action, and I thank you so much for that beautiful legacy of love that you have shown me and shared with me.
Oh, thank you, Tom, for the gift of generosity that you brought to this community, that you bring to the organization, that you bring out in all of us. So keep up the good work. Keep going. There's still a lot more work to be done, Tom. You know that.
Men don't say to other men that you love them, but I love Tom. You know, he's somebody that reached a part of my head or my heart or whatever to do things that I never would have done before. So that I thank him for.
When I see his eyes, when I see his heart, when I feel his warmth, I always say he's a good friend. I would say thank you from the bottom of my heart, dear, dear Tom.
I'd say, Dad, very proud of what you've done. You've made a huge difference, not only in Mexico, but in the U.S. You worked hard. You've taught us the reason why we do things, that you will not be outdone in kindness and generosity. And Dad, we love and respect the hell out of you. It's okay to come out of your office now and enjoy Cabo. You have a great team in Cabo that can carry this legacy on. Start enjoying it as you should.